In this video, I'm going to show you how to sell land without using a realtor. There's so many different ways you can sell land without ever having to deal with a realtor, because the reality is that realtors, with all due respect, suck at selling land. They're not trained for it. So stay tuned to see how to do that in a matter of just days. All right, selling land is actually very different than selling houses. It's not harder, it's actually simpler, but it's just very, very different. So at the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to do that, because I'm going to share with you the main 3 steps that you need to take to make your land listing stand out above all other ones. And also I'm going to share with you exactly where to list the land so that it sells in a matter of days. Okay, let's jump right into it. Okay, so the first statement I made was a little provocative, where I basically said realtors suck at selling land. But the reality is, it's true. Realtors are not trained to sell land. Realtors are trained to sell houses. So they're trained in how to actually make a house shine. They know how to remove clutter. They know how to get the photographer in at sunset and the right lighting. They know how to stage a house. They know how to do open houses. They know how to market it. They know how to basically show it in its best possible angle. Also, in the house world, people are looking for features, not just benefits. They're looking for features. In other words, family comes in and says, we want a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house with a split floor plan. Well, that's very, very specific. So if the realtor has a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house with a split floor plan, 1-story or 2-story could also be another criteria, then they can match the buyer's criteria exactly with the home of their dreams. They're looking for certain finishes. They're looking for certain colors. They're looking for certain lot size and things like that. So most of the things about a house listing are about the actual house. This is completely different when we're dealing in the land area. Most people don't buy a piece of land in order to build on it right away. They buy the piece of land for multiple reasons. Now, a developer, obviously, or builder buys the piece of land to build a house on there. They're the most emotionally uninvolved. They're just a numbers guy. They say, hey, the neighborhood sells for $500,000. I can get that piece of land for $100,000, spending about $200,000 building a house on it. So I have $300,000 in it, plus extra cost $350,000. I can make $150,000. Done deal. But most of the land that is being traded is not infill lots. It's not the lots on the street with 35 houses, 1 empty lot. Most of the land is like on the outskirts of town. Most of the land is like 20, 30 minutes away. A lot of the land that people buy in this world is 20, 40 acre tracts out there about an hour away from the city. Well, if you're dealing in that kind of land, then talking about the features of the land will get you nowhere, because nobody's interested in whether or not this piece of land has 3 trees or 17 trees. The way to sell a piece of land is a completely different way. And the thing is, realtors just don't know how to do it, because land is actually being sold by what's called dream building. And dream building means the following. Let's say somebody's in their 50s and hasn't had enough time or money or ability to save up enough money for retirement. So they're 10, 15 years away from retirement. They have nothing saved up. They're looking at the future retirement. They say like, oh my God, I can't retire in the city because my Social Security is going to be $1,500. Rent is $1,500 in town here. I'm going to be basically starving to death. There's actually a lot of people in that situation that we sell our land to. My wife and I, we have been flipping land for over 22 years. We've done over 4,500 deals. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you share this and make sure you comment below and make sure you follow us too. But here's the thing. We have flipped over 4,500 pieces of land, and on most of them, we have sold without a realtor, because we have learned and understood how to market land. And here's the thing. So let's talk about that potential buyer. That potential buyer is somebody who realizes that they can't be retiring in the city, and instead what they realize is they need something more affordable, perhaps a little bit outside of the city, perhaps half an hour outside of the city, where they can buy a couple of acres for $25,000 and perhaps even pay you in monthly payments as an installment sale. We sell a lot of our land with installment sales. And then once they own the piece of land and once it's paid off, they put a mobile home on there, and then they have a dignified retirement on that place. So what is this buyer going to look for? Are they going to look for a piece of land that has 17 trees or 5 trees or 7 trees? No, they don't care. What they care about is some very basic pieces of information about the property. Number one, does it have utilities? That's important. Number two, does it allow for a mobile home to be put on? That's an important factor. Almost anything else that this buyer is looking for has absolutely nothing to do with the piece of land. They're more interested in how far is the next church, how far is the next grocery store, how far is the next interstate, how far is the next restaurant, how far is the next hospital. Those are the things that they're interested in. So when you list that land, you need to list it thinking about what that person cares about. And a future retiree that wants to live half an hour away from town, or is forced to live half an hour away from town because he can't afford to live in a city, he doesn't want to be alone. He doesn't want to become a hermit. He doesn't want to just sit on his land and look out the window and stare at some trees and see deers passing by. No, he wants to be able to get in his car and in the shortest possible time be back in civilization, make new friends, join the church, go to restaurants, go to the doctor, go do his groceries, put gas. So those things are very, very important. So as a result, when you create your listing needs to talk about the things that are around the property much, much more than what is actually on the property. So that's rule number one. Rule number two for selling a property without a realtor is that the listing itself needs to be structured the way that it actually gets people's attention, gets their interest, raises their desire, and actually has them to take action. And if you just heard me say those four words or four kind of things, that actually come together as an acronym called AIDA. A stands for attention. I stands for interest. D stands for desire. A stands for action. This is actually one of the oldest marketing formulas that have been used in copywriting, in sales writing, in advertising for centuries, really. And it really means the following thing. When putting together your listing, you start your listing with a headline that catches everyone's attention. It needs to be a real head turner. So for example, not 2 acres for sale. Nobody's interested in that. How about perfect retirement spot, mobile homes allowed, 2 acres, 40% below market. Now, if you're a future retiree, you're going to look at that and you say like, well, great. It's a retirement spot. It has all utilities. It is 40% below market. I got to check this thing out. Catch people's attention. Second thing is now you talk about the area and the property and think about again, what does the buyer want to do? So if it's an infill lot, you talk about obviously what the builder wants to do, that this is a perfect lot, houses in the neighborhood selling for $500,000. Average cost to build a house is $200,000. So this lot at $100,000 provides you the ability to make $150,000 in profit. Right there. You lay it out for any buyers like, oh my God, that's a smoking deal. Let me buy it. If the lot is in the outskirts of town and appeals to, let's say, the future retiree, or let's say a virtual worker, somebody that works from home and therefore does not have to live close to the office anymore, now a lot of these people want to have 5 acres outside of town. So you talk to them about what they can do about it. You say like, hey, have your 5 acres of paradise close to the city. You're only 5 minutes away from the interstate. You're back in town in 35 minutes. There's this small little town only 10 minutes away with a grocery store, a Starbucks, gas station, and several restaurants. So you can fulfill your daily needs there, like for grocery shopping and things like that. But if you want to get into town, you're in town in 25 minutes. That's a perfect description of the lifestyle the people that are attracted to that lot want to live. And by doing that, you're now raising their interest. Only then do you talk about, and by the way, the property has 7 trees, and it's flat, and it has utilities, and it's perfectly buildable. Because that is not as important. It's important, but it's not the ultimate buying decision. People buy land because of what's around and what they can do with. Can they live their dream life there? That's why they're looking for it. A house is sold on features. Perhaps the school district plays a role. That's about the only thing that matters in a house. School district, how far perhaps is the next mall, and how close is to the interstate. Those are features that matter in a house. But everything else matters so much more on land. And then after you raise the interest, you go desire. And when you put the desire, raise the desire, you now put in the price. And if the land really is at 40% below market because you follow our land profit method where we'd show you how to get these pieces of land for 10 or 20 or 30 cents on the dollar, and that allows you to sell them for 60 cents on the dollar and make 2 or 3 times your money in as a profit, then you indeed can actually sell it at that price point. And now, of course, the price becomes a great factor of desire. So in that case, you put the price on there, but even there, you don't just put the price on there. You also want to make sure that you show people that it's truly a bargain. Just saying it's 40% below market doesn't mean anything to anyone if you don't prove it. So what you do is you go over to Zillow, and on Zillow, you pull up some comparables. So let's say you have this property for sale for $50,000 and comparable properties sell for $80,000. Then you put pictures of the $80,000 listings or $80,000 sales onto your listing and say, see, other properties have sold for $80,000. You can get ours for just $50,000. Now you're proving to people that it's a bargain, and that's very, very important too. And then lastly, you make it easy for them to take action. Put your phone number on the listing. Put your email address on there. Make it easy and simple for them to text you, call you, and inquire about that property. And then lastly, obviously respond. And that's how you sell your properties without a realtor. It's actually not very difficult. It's just understanding that you're dream building for your buyers. And as a result, you're putting a listing together that follows the AIDA steps and that guides people along. It catches their attention, it raises their interest, it gets them really to want these deals, and then it makes it easy for them to take action. You combine that with the right description by not talking about the land, but about everything that's around it, and making sure that they can check their boxes, and you got an avalanche of buyers coming your way. Lastly, once you found your buyer, you simply send them a purchase agreement. They sign it, you send it to the title company. Title company does the rest of the work, sends the document to the sellers, sends documents to you. Everyone signs the documents. The buyer sends the money in to the title company, and you sign your documents over. And as a result, the buyer gets the property, you get the money, and you walk away with cash in your pocket. It's as simple as that. So if you enjoyed this video, I have a little gift for you. And that is right here on the same channel, there's a playlist called 7 Days of Land Flipping. As a matter of fact, there's probably a link coming up here or here right there that you can just simply click on and click over there and just start watching those. Those 7 videos will walk you through exactly how our land profit method works and how you can do deals from anywhere in the world, from home, without using your own money, and make profits in the land space without ever even using a realtor. Of course, you can use the realtors, but if you do, make sure you pick the best one that actually understands land, because most realtors just don't know how to deal with land. With that said, thank you very much. Go check out the video somewhere here. See you there.